over 7 decades, hundreds of millions of viewers worldwide have admired the enduring symbol of friendship between Lucy and Ethel on the small screen.
Where did you get that pin?
I was wondering if you were going to remember me.
Remember you?
Yes, you gave me this pin when you were here last March. I came up to give you something.
Still, what truly happened behind the soundstage doors, once the applause faded, a harsh convention enforcing physical sacrifice, bitter tears hastily concealed behind thick layers of powder, and suffocating authoritarian pressure from the most powerful woman in Hollywood.
No, but from whom? Him. Fred.
Shoulders back, hips under, stomach in, chest out, chin up, knees straight. Now then, remembering all these things.
What brutal price did Vivian Vance have to pay to forge Lucille Ball's glory? The velvet curtain concealing the rawest hidden corners of American television history will be officially drawn back right now. In 1950, Hollywood cinema witnessed a vital turning point in Lucille Ball's career. Turning 40, she faced the risk of being discarded as major film studios began labeling her the Queen of the B-movies. Refusing to surrender to the pressures of age, Lucille Ball decided to make a risky gamble by pivoting to the nascent realm of television. She wagered her entire reputation on a new sitcom project for the CBS Broadcasting Network. To agree to the project, Lucille Ball issued a non-negotiable demand. Her real-life husband, Cuban artist Desi Arnaz, had to play the male lead. This was a desperate attempt to salvage a marriage fracturing under endless tours. CBS network executives fiercely objected out of concern that the American public would not accept an interracial couple on national television. Nonetheless, faced with Lucille's unyielding stance, the network was forced to concede and officially greenlight the production of I Love Lucy. With the male lead settled, the next challenge was finding the face for the landlady character, Ethel Mertz. Director Mark Daniels immediately set his sights on talented stage actress Vivian Vance during a performance at the La Jolla Playhouse in California. Recognizing Vance's sharp acting and masterful vocal delivery, the producers quickly signed a contract without securing Lucille Ball's direct approval first. This incident ignited a wave of tension right from the very first rehearsal. During the fateful table read in 1951, Lucille Ball was furious upon coming face-to-face with the newly recruited co-star. Instead of the frumpy, middle-aged woman described in the script, Vivian Vance showed up looking polished, elegant, and thoroughly alluring. Vivian Vance was 42 at the time, roughly Lucille's age, boasting golden blonde hair and the radiant face of a Broadway leading lady. Vance's youthfulness and charm struck Lucille Ball's greatest insecurity, immediately the competition of beauty on screen. Lucille Ball openly voiced her objections to the director and demanded a recast, fearing Ethel would steal the audience's spotlight. Even so, after witnessing Vance's extraordinary comedic chemistry during rehearsals, she had no choice but to keep her co-star. While agreeing to collaborate, a ruthless unspoken rule was established behind the scenes to ensure Lucille Ball remained the sole focal point of glamour. The wardrobe department received strict instructions to provide Vivian Vance with outfits one size smaller than her actual frame. This tactic forced Vance's body to expose unflattering bulges under the studio lights, creating the image of a frumpy, unattractive housewife. At the same time, Vance was compelled to keep patchy, uneven roots and wear hairstyles that thoroughly undermined her looks throughout the seasons. Submitting to an unsightly mold to serve as a launchpad for the set's brightest star, Vivian Vance never anticipated that the show's explosive success would also mark the beginning of grueling psychological pressure that she and the entire crew would have to endure. The darkness behind the lens. The following years marked a dazzling golden era for I Love Lucy, as the show continually broke viewership records across America. Behind the hearty laughter on the small screen lay an extraordinarily tense and grueling work environment. Unlike the clumsy and spontaneous nature of her on-screen character, Lucille Ball in real life was an extreme perfectionist. She never believed in improvisation, instead transforming the studio set into a mechanical machine operating with precision down to the hundredth of a second. Every physical gesture, wink of an eye, or rhythm of dropping objects had to undergo dozens of hours of repetitive rehearsals to the point of exhaustion. The entire technical crew and supporting cast had to strictly adhere to every mark on the stage floor without the slightest margin for error. The obsession with perfection repeatedly threw Lucille Ball and her fellow actors into terrifying on-set accidents right before the camera. A prime example was the dangerous mishap during the grape-stomping scene in a 1956 episode when a local actress acted too realistically and held Lucille's head down at the bottom of the vat. The screen star nearly suffocated under the thick grape mush because her co-performer did not understand English to heed the director's call to stop. Similarly, the scene where a giant loaf of bread, over 2 meters long, suddenly popped out on a spring almost fractured Lucille's ribs on national television. Lucille Ball's extreme strictness placed an enormous psychological burden on co-star Vivian Vance throughout the show's peak seasons. Any missed beat or forgotten line from Vance was met with cold, scrutinizing stares and harsh reprimands from the mistress of the studio. On top of that, the soundstage served as a covert psychological battleground between Vivian Vance and veteran actor William Frawley, who portrayed Fred Mertz. A profound personal feud between the two emerged from the very first day of shooting and dragged on endlessly for an entire decade. Vivian Vance vehemently objected to being paired as a married couple with a man 22 years her senior who had an aging appearance. Frawley happened to overhear these complaints and considered them an outright public insult to the stature of a seasoned performer. The two actors severed all personal interaction and refused to speak to each other the moment the director called cut on set. This covert hostility turned warm family scenes into grueling psychological ordeals for every member of the production crew. The persistent hostile pressure alongside body image prejudices plunged Vivian Vance into a state of nervous exhaustion and severe depression. She frequently had to pull over to vomit by the roadside out of sheer panic before arriving at the studio and relied on a psychiatrist for many years. In the midst of the production team's internal fractures, a terrifying political storm struck in September 1953, threatening to bury Lucille Ball's entire career. The American press simultaneously reported that Lucille was being rigorously interrogated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) and the House Investigative Committee. She stood accused of having registered to vote for the Communist Party in a local election. During the high-tension Cold War era, such a political blemish was potent enough to utterly dismantle an entire entertainment empire overnight. The atmosphere on set on the evening of September 11, 1953, was shrouded in sheer dread as the live audience gradually filed into the auditorium. Before rolling the cameras for the new episode, Desi Arnaz stepped onto the stage to defend his wife with a historic, humorous declaration. "The only thing red about Lucy is her hair, and even that is dyed." This iconic line, combined with interventions from major sponsors, diffused all the tension and allowed Lucille Ball to narrowly escape the blacklist. Overcoming the political crisis, the sitcom continued to reap glory as Vivian Vance made history at the 1954 Emmy Awards. She became the first person in television history to win Best Supporting Actress for her legendary portrayal of Ethel Mertz. Even so, the sweat and tears shed for art paled in comparison to the fatal wound quietly tearing Lucille Ball apart from within. The million-dollar marriage in the public spotlight was heading toward its end. The Desilu Empire. The late 1950s witnessed the phenomenal rise of Desilu Productions in the American entertainment industry. The combination of Lucille Ball's artistic vision and Desi Arnaz's managerial talent forged an unprecedented business miracle. By pioneering the application of a synchronized high-quality 35mm 3-camera setup, Desilu held the full rerun rights to the episodes. This syndication model generated enormous cash flow, turning the artist couple into some of the most powerful millionaires. The pinnacle of financial power was established in late 1957 when Desilu Productions spent over $6 million to acquire the entire RKO Studios complex. This was a historic transaction, propelling their company past many long-standing film studios in Los Angeles. For Lucille Ball, becoming the owner of RKO was a deeply proud personal victory. This was once the studio that saw her endure years of humiliation as a second-rate contract player, cold-shouldered by directors. Still, the dazzling ascent of the commercial empire stood in inverse proportion to the irremediable collapse of the golden marriage. Tens of millions of dollars in wealth and high social stature could not conceal the severe fractures between husband and wife. Vivian Vance directly witnessed her co-star's agonizing daily torment behind closed backstage doors. Desi Arnaz began spiraling into all-night parties, prolonged drunkenness, and hard-to-break gambling habits. Desi's repeated infidelities became a horrifying obsession for Lucille Ball throughout the show's production. Numerous times before live filming, Lucille had to lock herself in the dressing room, crying, her eyes swollen over private clashes that had just erupted. Hair and makeup artists constantly had to reapply thick layers of powder to hide the leading star's red, puffy eyes. The painful paradox was that the moment they stepped out in front of the audience, Lucille and Desi had to perform the sweetest, most affectionate scenes. Backstage tension also spread to the relationship between Vivian Vance and William Frawley when the show was rebranded as the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour. Recognizing the enormous appeal, television executives offered an exceptionally high salary to produce a standalone spin-off series for the Mertz couple. Even so, Vivian Vance flatly turned down the chance to earn tens of thousands of dollars alongside independent fame. She resolutely refused because she did not want to continue enduring discord and intense hostility from her older real-life co-star. The suffocating, tense atmosphere ultimately led to the final curtain on March 2, 1960. That was the day of taping the final broadcast of the classic series, taking place amidst a heavy, breathless silence among the entire crew. After delivering a strained parting kiss before the cameras in the final shot, Lucille and Desi immediately left the stage floor. The two walked in opposite directions across the studio without exchanging a single word of farewell. Exactly 24 hours after the wrap, Lucille Ball officially signed and filed divorce papers with the court. This decisive legal action officially put an end to a 20-year marriage filled with ups, downs, and tears. Rising from the ashes of a shattered marriage, Lucille Ball did not collapse. She emerged as the most formidable mogul in the entertainment industry, but that very seat of power would drive her soul sister friendship with Vivian Vance into an irreparable rift. The Power Rift. The year 1962 marked a historic milestone when Lucille Ball officially bought out all of Desi Arnaz's shares for $3 million. This transaction made her the first woman to hold the position of president of a major Hollywood studio. Two works, Star Trek by creator Gene Roddenberry and Mission Impossible greenlit by Lucille, created a global pop culture sensation. The extraordinary success of these projects affirmed the sharp managerial prowess of the most powerful woman in entertainment. By 1967, Lucille Ball decided to sell the entire Desilu studio to the media conglomerate Gulf Plus Western for the massive sum of $17 million. This sum, equivalent to over $150 million in present-day value, transformed her into one of the wealthiest self-made millionaires. Alongside running the studio, Lucille Ball returned to the small screen in 1962 with a new project titled The Lucy Show. To secure viewership ratings for her first solo venture, she earnestly invited Vivian Vance to reunite with her on television. Drawing from the bitter grievances of the past, Vivian Vance issued a steely ultimatum before agreeing to put pen to paper on the contract. The actress resolutely refused to continue portraying an aging, frumpy woman as a backdrop for her co-star. The new contract stipulated that her character would be named Vivian Bagley, would wear fashionable wardrobe, and would appear with an elegant look. Concurrently, Vivian Vance also demanded substantially higher compensation befitting the stature of an Emmy-winning artist. Even with the financial terms agreed upon, the working relationship between the two stars swiftly revealed profound fractures over power. Lucille Ball maintained her habit of absolute control over the entire production process, from scripts and dialogue to acting tempo. Lucille's autocracy made Vivian Vance feel her creative talent was constantly being suffocated right on the soundstage. Vance no longer wanted to endure the status of an artistic sidekick, yearning instead for equal recognition as a true partner in the project. The conflict culminated when Vance's contract came up for renewal for the next broadcast season. The actress formally requested a promotion to the billing of co-star, with her name appearing on equal footing with Lucille Ball in the opening title sequence. In addition to the demand for equal billing, Vance insisted on the right to participate directly in script revisions and decide character arcs. Still, the pride of the woman holding supreme power led Lucille Ball to flatly reject all of these demands. Lucille Ball staunchly guarded her solitary throne, declaring definitively to the producers, "There's only one star on this show, and that's Lucille Ball." This uncompromising declaration utterly crushed all hopes of artistic equality. Realizing she could never escape the towering shadow of her co-star, Vivian Vance decided to walk away in 1965. Her departure dealt a severe blow to the core comedic dynamic that the two had painstakingly built over many years. As years passed, and the glow of fame and fortune slowly receded, confronting illness and the finiteness of human life, the wall of pride between those two great women finally crumbled. The legacy of the century. Vivian Vance subsequently dedicated most of her time and energy to public awareness initiatives. She became one of the pioneering artists in the United States to publicly acknowledge her clinical depression on national television. Vance's courageous decision to share her psychiatric treatment helped dismantle the heavy social stigma of that era. Still, the actress's peaceful life on the East Coast was soon threatened by a severe health crisis as her twilight years approached. In the late 1970s, medical specialists diagnosed Vivian Vance with late-stage breast cancer, and the malignant cells had rapidly metastasized to her bones. This heartbreaking news instantly shattered all walls of pride and the years of geographic distance between her and Lucille Ball. In the summer of 1979, Lucille Ball flew to Connecticut to see her soulmate co-star one last time on her sickbed. Lucy Arnaz, Lucille's daughter, later recounted that all the imperiousness of a powerful mogul completely vanished inside that modest hospital room. Lucille Ball held Vivian Vance's frail, exhausted frame tightly and wept uncontrollably for hours by her bedside. All past grievances over status, fame, or compensation, disputes dissolved entirely in the face of the imminent threshold between life and death. On August 17, 1979, Vivian Vance drew her final breath at the age of 70, leaving behind profound grief across the American arts landscape. Confronting this tremendous loss, Lucille Ball choked back tears as she stated, "I have just lost my best friend and the greatest co-star of my life." Vance's passing was the bell signaling the close of a golden era in television history. 7 years after her co-star's death in late 1986, Desi Arnaz also entered the terminal stage of his life, ravaged by lung cancer. Even after living apart for more than 2 decades, Desi still held his ex-wife in the utmost reverence ahead of the 1986 Kennedy Center Honors. In his letter to the Honors Committee, Desi Arnaz wrote, "Lucy was 90% of the show's success. We were just great supporting props. P.S. I Love Lucy was never just a title." During their final telephone conversation before Desi passed away in December 1986, the two spoke through tears. Both reaffirmed their love for each other through the receiver officially bringing closure to a romance as tempestuous as it was profound in Hollywood history. On April 26, 1989, Lucille Ball passed away at the age of 77 at Cedars-Sinai Hospital due to complications from an aortic aneurysm. The great artist's departure left an irreplaceable void in the world of situation comedy. Lucille Ball left behind a colossal commercial empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars, along with soundstage technical innovations that remain in use to this day. Behind the immortal laughter was an authentic story of sacrifice, a fraught friendship, and the ruthless price of glory. What are your thoughts on Vivian Vance's sacrifices, as well as Lucille Ball's authoritarian control behind the glamour of the entertainment capital? Please leave your perspective and share your thoughts right in the comments section below this video. Do not forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for more videos uncovering untold Hollywood secrets. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next documentary episodes.